Hogwarts Legacy was a fantastic game that journalists hated because they're all activists who wanted everyone to boycott the title, and it didn't work out for them. It's still the highest selling game of the year, made over $1 billion in revenue in its first month of release, and now, of course, they are releasing new hit pieces to bank on J.K. Rowling's name that's been in the news ever since a museum scrubbed every mention of her in their Harry Potter exhibit. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So this article says Hogwarts Legacy was just another bland, open-world game after all. Of course, this is just a hit piece against Hogwarts Legacy. It is a rage bait because this is how these journalists survive. This is how the gamers, the game rants have not gone out of business yet because nobody really cares about the content they're putting up. I just like to talk about it, to roast it, because I need to call them out, because if they don't get called out, they're just going to continue to run rampant in the industry, which I don't want that, and I'm sure most of you don't want that. But it says it came and went, even with all of the controversy. They are acting like there are games on the regular that come out and are a Skyrim or a Grand Theft Auto 5, where we play them for years and years over and over and over. That's just not the case with a game like Hogwarts Legacy. It is a single-player title. You play through it once, maybe you wait a couple months, you play through it again, and then you either play through it when there's more DLC, or you just feel the itch for a good experience. They are obsessing over something like Baldur's Gate 3 right now. In 2 months, 3 months, nobody's going to be talking about Baldur's Gate 3 anymore. It's going to be dead. It's going to be a dead game because you play through it once and then you let it go because it's a longer story-based experience. You're not going to sit here and play it over and over and over unless, of course, it becomes one of your favorite games of all time. Then I understand, but how many people is that going to be? Not many. It says, though, that Hogwarts Legacy was consumed by millions of people and made billions of dollars, but less than a year later, it's hard to find anyone with enough passion to talk about it. It came and went, which is a big feat for a game which once brought up so much controversy. There are tons of new games that release every month. Hell, even every week there are new video game releases. I mean, in the next, 2 months, we've got things like Starfield, Cyberpunk 2077 DLC, Lies of P, Immortals of Avium, Atlas Fallen, just released. We had Baldur's Gate. I mean, look at just those games that I knew off the top of my head. Never mind indie titles, niche titles that maybe not everyone is looking at or even looking to cover. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Things come, things go, and only the top 1% of games are played over and over and over and over by average people. But, of course, they are, trying to use this as an excuse to attack the game. We've decided against covering Hogwarts Legacy here at The Gamer, unless content produced contributed effectively to the overall cultural discussion. I think that this is hilarious. They basically refused to do their job because they didn't do any guides, they didn't do any walkthroughs of Hogwarts Legacy, but yet they put up 5, 10, 15 hit pieces, so you're still giving the game coverage. You're just not giving the coverage that would take work and effort, the effort of playing through the game. I mean, I talked about it on my channel a lot. I talked about Hogwarts Legacy a lot, but I also did a full live streamed playthrough on my channel so you guys could see my first true, genuine impressions. These people don't do that because they aren't actually very good at their jobs, and at the end of the day, they just want to be activists. They don't care about the industry and the health of it. They don't actually give a fuck. They just want to be political activists. It says, though, as a team, we made up of several queer people. It didn't feel right to shine a light on a game whose source material was created by a public figure who was normalizing transphobia. I have always said this. games. It is perfectly fine if you do not like J.K. Rowling's opinions, like her as an individual, but at the end of the day, she is a human being who is allowed to have her own opinions, and she is not going on social media wishing death upon people she does not like or does not agree with their lifestyle. She is not wishing hatred against them. She is not saying things that are awful and disgusting and pushed to that next level of like harassment, right? It's people like this who are going on social media, going out of their way to call her a transphobe, to give her these terrible labels because they cannot accept the fact that she's got opinions that they don't like. And it just seems conveniently timed that they put up an article now on how Hogwarts Legacy is dead. Nobody cares about it. It's forgettable in the vast sea of open world games, because just a few days ago we were talking about a museum Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling removed from U.S. Museum of Pop Culture over transphobic views. Now, I did cover this in a individual video a few days ago, but we did find out that they painted over her face on a mural. They decided to scrub any mention of her, which is terrible in my opinion, because like it or not, she is the creator of Harry Potter. She has brought joy to millions of people around the world, younger, older, it doesn't matter. She is the reason why so many people did fall in love with wizards at a young age, let's be honest. And all you're doing by scrubbing her name and trying to get people to boycott and forget about Harry Potter is erasing love and nostalgia that people have for this franchise. And it's just so funny to see them attempt to attack not only JK, but Hogwarts Legacy, because they are desperate for it to fail. They were desperate for it to fail. And even though we have not heard anything about like DLCs at this point in time, its success is undeniable. I mean, it still is the best-selling game of 2023, despite major competition. All these people at the gamers are talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and how it's the best game ever and how they absolutely love it, which is great if you like it, don't get me wrong, but it is still, at this point in time, this article was from only a week ago, it is still the best-selling game of 2023, and there are only a few titles that have even come close, like Tears of the Kingdom has come close. We don't have updated Tears of the Kingdom's numbers, and let's be honest, I bet that Tears of the Kingdom is ultimately going to surpass Hogwarts Legacy, but the only other real major competition it has had for the year is the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is not going to come close to the sales numbers of Hogwarts Legacy or Tears of the Kingdom. Baldur's Gate 3, we don't at this point have an idea about sales numbers. We only know that over the 2-year early access period, it sold 2 million copies. I would assume that they're probably going to end at like 4 million copies sold, if that, because most people that are playing it right now really seem to be people who pre-ordered it. And Starfield. I mean, Starfield is releasing at the end of this year, and I do think that, in my opinion, that is really the only other major competition. So far, at this point in time, with all of the major releases I've played this year, Hogwarts Legacy is my game of the year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. There were other games that were really good as well, like Final Fantasy 16, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Tears of the Kingdom was good, all very solid titles, but Hogwarts Legacy is still my number one for 2023 so far. That may change once Starfield has released, once Lies of P has released, maybe even the Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. Maybe Phantom Liberty will blow me away. I'm a little bit more skeptical about that, just because, of course, Cyberpunk 2077 definitely brings up a lot of very bad memories because of launch and how terrible it was. But yeah, I mean, they are desperate to bury Hogwarts Legacy, to bury J.K. Rowling, to get people to boycott this franchise and give up on the wizarding world, but that's just not going to happen no matter what they say, no matter what they try to, push onto viewers. This is not the case. It is still the best-selling game of the year. It was not just another bland open world title. And if they announced a DLC, there would be millions of people playing it, millions of people supporting it, and this title did very good, no matter what they are trying to say. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.